What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how to restack a DB. Today we're going to talk about what you can do after you beat this DB off the line of scrimmage, some moves you can do at the top of the route once you've gotten back over on the top of this DB to get some separation, all right? And guys, again, if you want to get better at reading defenses, being on the same page as your quarterback, understanding how corners are going to play you, what their leverage means, what that means for the overall defensive play, where the holes are going to be, check out that link in the description that says how to read defenses to get on the same page as your quarterback so you can get the ball more and be a more successful receiver. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about here is he's going to be closing the gap with this DB using this 1-2. Today we're not going to focus too much on the release, right? We focus a lot on how to get off press, but now this is what do you do when we've already beaten press, right? So we're going to watch this clip full speed. This is Allen Robinson. So he gives him a 1-2, gets over the top, gives this little peek back, and then breaks up over the middle here. So now, main thing that I want to talk about here is when he gives him this 1-2, he goes right, left, gets this DB to lean. He's a little bit far outside, right? So he's not completely right by him. He's not ripping right through under the shoulder. His release is taking him a little bit more so towards the inside. So we got to work back over the top here so this DB is trailing my back hip. That's what restacking is, right? And so now you see when he's working back over the top here, he very easily could have just ran and then just run this dig, right? But that's a very easy play for this DB to recover because he's got his head down. He's running full speed and he's going to try to undercut this thing. So he's going to work to get back over the top of him, is looking over this shoulder, has turned his shoulders just a little bit over the middle here to get this DB to turn and run, and then he's going to make this sudden jab, this sudden stick right here because this DB's watching his back hip. When you turn your upper half like this, that's what's going to get you some separation. That's called a heavy indicator stick right there. And then you see what that does to the DB. Gets him drifting to the inside. I create this window over the middle of the field. This is a great route here by Allen Robinson. So again, even if my release takes me out wide, when I get back to the stem of this route, I want to try to work to restack this DB. The next clip we're going to look at is an example of a peek back technique you could use, but maybe not to the extent of having to readjust yourself over the top. So let's watch this again full speed. So 1-2, get over the top, peek back, sudden stick, explode out on this break. So now we're going to be looking at Keenan Allen here. Now you see this is a great example of a peek back and being very sudden with your feet at the top of this break. Okay, so right, so he's going to come off the line. He's going to kind of give him this 1-2 here, 1-2-3, excuse me. Now, when he bursts up field, the main key, I would say, to be able to restack and get on top of this DB so he's trailing you is your pad level. What a lot of people do is they'll come off the line here and they'll make a move. They'll go 1-2-3, and then they pop this chest up. Now, you see how Allen's chest is over his knees, right? That means he's in an explosive position and he's always going to be going forward. So while he's going forward, you see how he's dipping this inside shoulder. I wouldn't even say dipping it, but he's going forward because he knows that he got this DB off balance with his feet off the line, and he's being able to he's staying in a low explosive pad level position so he could push forward, right? The low man's going to win, and right now we're the low man off the line of scrimmage, right? So now, when he gets back over the top of him, what does he do? He starts peeking back for the ball. So now this is a great technique to use when this is the more so the peek back that I teach. The last clip was a little bit, might have dropped his eyes a little bit too soon on that in my opinion, but this is the peek back that I teach my guys when we're working it. We work it on either a corner, out route, comeback, any kind of out-breaking route. I have them try to look back for this ball for at least two inside steps, and at the last possible second, I'm dropping my eyes. So you see how sudden his feet are. When we work to get back over the top of a DB, if I'm peeking back, I don't want to drop my eyes, then make my break. I don't want to be peeking back for the ball, then drop my eyes here, and then make this break with my feet. I want to try to hold this thing as long as I possibly can because that's going to draw him underneath me. He's trying to get greedy, trying to undercut this thing. And then at the last possible second, I put my foot in the ground. You see how he's still looking back for the ball. Does a great job using that peek back technique, and you see what it does to that DB. Gets him a little bit off balance, gets him hesitating to the inside. Now, when I've created some separation at the top because of my restack, because of that peek back, I got to pump my arms and make sure I drive off this break to make sure this DB isn't able to catch up to me, to get a good ball by the quarterback. That's a great job here using this peek back. So anytime we peek back, fellas, we got to make sure that I'm looking back for the ball, and at the last possible second, that's when I'm changing direction with my feet. That is very hard to do. Now, when I say peek back, I don't mean lean back. So what a lot of my guys will do, the mistakes that they make, is they'll lean their whole body back. They pick their chest up, then their strides get real short, and then this DB's able to make a play on it, and we got no explosion at the top. When I mean peek back, I mean you're just looking over that inside shoulder, but you're still keeping a good pad level. You're still striding out. You see how he's able to hit this thing right in stride and breaks this thing off. It's a great route here. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So let me rewind it. So coming off here, 1, 2, 3, restack, peek back, last possible second, break this thing off. That's a great route here by Keenan Allen. All right, so now we're going to be looking at this route here by KJ Hill. He's going to be running a corner route, and we're going to be talking about how you can use a rocker step and just a heavy indicator stick to get some separation. So he works this DB 3 steps, triple move to the inside, 1, 2, breaks this thing off, then accelerates off on this route. That's a great job utilizing this heavy indicator stick, but also we can use a rocker step, and we're going to talk about that today. So we get him off the line of scrimmage here. I want to take an inside release. I'm running a corner route. So if I'm going to take an inside release, right, so pre-snap, this DB's head up, and I want to run a corner, it's probably not wise, especially when we're walked down here in the slot, to just try to take this outside release right now. DB's going to be able to force us, and he's not going to get a whole lot of separation. So I want to get him leaning to the outside and see how he's given up this inside already. That's where I want to take my release. So the only way I'm going to be able to get separation at the top of the route is if I restack him. So that's the situation here. So he goes 1, 2, 3, gets him off this platform, gets him shuffling, gets him leaning to this outside foot. Now we can accelerate up to the inside. DB probably should have gotten hands here to try to disrupt this thing because he was pretty much doomed from the start. If this DB does not get hands on the line of scrimmage and it's man like this, especially against a quicker guy, that's a very, very hard thing to cover, okay? But we could take advantage of that as receivers. So now when he's bursting upfield, you see how he's using this peek back technique as well, right? Peeking back, and now he's using this 1, 2, right? You see how he's coming here, right, left, and you see how much his upper half turns. Because when we're restacking a DB, fellas, he's going to be looking at my hips. Right, he's not going to be looking at my feet. I don't need to make this big, long cut and reach and pull my chest back. It's very sudden with my feet. You see how he's able to just go right, left here, and it's very violent. His upper half is completely turning. His hips are turning. That's what's going to get this DB to undercut this thing. It's selling like I'm just running a post right now. If I wanted to do a rocker step, I could step with my right side, turn my right shoulder, maybe get him leaning. Then I come back with my upper half to the opposite side, and that's going to get this DB to bite even more on this post route or this breaking route, but he's able to just put his foot in the ground, catch himself, and again, what's he doing? Accelerating off this break. DB loses his balance. Ball's going to be out maybe a hair sooner. This is a great route here by KJ Hill. So again, 1, 2, 3, work to restack, then gives him this violent head and shoulder fake to the inside. That's what's going to get this DB to undercut it, okay? So now we're going to be looking at Hopkins. Now this is a situation where we don't necessarily use this violent head and shoulder fake, but we're quick out of it with my feet, and we're going to talk about how we get into the position to restack. So he uses this kind of split release and dips that shoulder and then just works this stick over the middle, okay? So obviously, we see that safety come in late, so we got safety help over the middle, so he's probably going to be playing the outside anyway. So I'm thinking pre-snap, I probably want to take this inside release. So we come off here, split release, right, to try to get this DB to stop his feet. Now, what's he going to do? If we want to take an inside release, what's the hand that I got to beat? I only got to beat this left hand, right? So you see when we shoot up this left hand here, what does Hopkins do? This is what I was talking about in the beginning of the video. He's dipping this inside shoulder. So when he dips this inside shoulder here, split release, dip the inside shoulder, he's got no hands on him, right? And when we avoid hands or we get his hands off of us by swat and rip or swat chop, I can get back over the top of him. And you see, why wouldn't he just take this thing up and run this dig? Because he could easily play that underneath it. It's easier for the safety to make that play. I want to push vertical. I want to work to restack. You see how he's angling his body to the left. What's the DB doing? He's angling to the left, break this thing off, and now I got some separation. That's a great route here by DeAndre Hopkins. Let's watch this thing full speed. So that's a great technique to use to get into that position of a restack. Split release, dip that shoulder, push up vertical. So again, split, dip the shoulder so we avoid contact, work to restack, and get off this break. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comments. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible, and I'll see you guys next time.